to have something that I can hold and I can look at, and that's holding those socks that before were just in my closet, that has moved and shifted the energy. Welcome back to my channel, and thank you to my new subscribers. It's Sam from thesamanthawild.com, and today I want to share with you really the significance of our creativity and our art as a healing practice. I'm going to share with you about this particular piece. Now, I feel like the lighting isn't doing this piece justice for whatever reason in this video, but hopefully you'll be able to see it. It's really, really beautiful. But before we get started talking about the healing power of creativity, which is so relevant right now, isn't it? Don't forget to subscribe, give me a thumbs up, head over to thesamanthawild.com, which is my online home. You're going to see all of my weaving there, as well as my book, Strange Gifts, Some Thoughts on Love, which I'm going to be writing about on my blog this week. Now, for those who don't know the story about this piece, I wove this as a memory piece for myself. I'm a memory weaver. I weave other pieces that aren't memory pieces, but I do a lot of memory weaving when I have commissions, which means I take things from people, the clothes from their grandmother, or their mother, or their uncle, or their brother, doilies. And I hadn't done one for myself. So this is a memory weaving piece I did for myself using socks. The yellow and the white, not all the yellow, but a lot of the yellow and the white come from baby socks. This is from a baby I lost halfway through pregnancy to trisomy 18. And I want to start with the fact that those baby socks for years were in a box in the closet. And that's probably true for you. I mean, do you have clothes or fabric or something important from someone beloved to you that you've actually just stored away? And these things are so special to us, and yet we don't have them. Like, we don't have them out because they're so special, or we don't have them out because it's so painful. So making this piece was a bit of a challenge for me. And that's because it had more emotion and heart. When I weave memory pieces for other people, it's very moving and very poignant, but obviously it's like one step removed. But let me tell you, keeping our old stuff in the closet, our old fabric or the clothing of our beloved, is not going to help us heal. But using those things and being engaged in our creativity will help us heal. As with all of my pieces, this piece was spontaneously woven. So no plan, no project. I just knew that I wanted to weave it in a circle for a lot of reasons. I mean, this baby I never met. So the womb is a wonderful circular thing. And also thinking about the circle of life, the circle just felt right to me. But when I began the weaving, I had no idea what it would look like. I just knew I wanted the yellows and whites, and I let the intuition and that practice of divine sacred listening, which I use with all my weaving, I let it guide me. And you can go back to some of my other videos because I talk a lot on here about using your intuition. But here's the thing, there are a lot of things that we do when we're hurting, when we're in pain, when we're sad. There are a lot of things. We go to therapy, or we talk to people, or we walk in nature, or so on and so forth. And creating is one of the most important things we need to do to help move our sense of despair or loss or pain. And actually, it's something we go to the least often. Or sometimes when big catastrophic events happen, we think that our making and our creating and our art are not important. But it's not true. They're actually very, very important. And the first person they're important to is us. The first person you're creating is important to is you. And that's why I'm thinking about creativity as healing us. Now, creativity is healing for other people too. Every time I make a memory weaving for somebody else, the process is so healing. And when people come to me after I've been working for a period of time with the old clothes and fabric of their beloveds, and then they see that finished piece, maybe it's a tapestry, maybe it's a shawl, maybe it's a scarf, tears, but they're tears of healing. And our artwork can do that. Our craft can do that. When you see it up on the wall, it has that effect in the heart center. But there's something magical about the process of making. And we know this now. Of course, we have all people looking at the science and the research for what happens in the brain when we're making. But something also happens in the heart, and something also happens in the spirit. So given the state of events in the world, I want to encourage you to make something. Make something today, make something this week. It doesn't have to be a big thing. You could make a beautiful soup or a loaf of bread, or you could craft something or sew something or stitch something or write a poem or sing a song. But when we prioritize that, we capitalize on the power of healing through art. Because the truth is, there's going to be no healing in our creativity unless we're letting ourselves be creative. And that sounds like a silly, silly circle that I'm talking about. But the beginning of it working is always taking the first step and doing it. And we can watch as many YouTube videos as we want of other people creating and crafting and making art and healing, but it doesn't work for us unless we pick something up and do something. And I talk about this all the time. I talk about this on Instagram, where you can find me at the Samantha Wild. I talk about it in my classes. And what I say is, you don't need a retreat, a weekend retreat in Paris. You don't need a day. You don't need 8 hours. You don't need 1 hour. You can create and work in even 10 minutes. And that incredibly meditative process of getting in touch with whatever we're making, of using the parts of the brain that are involved in our creativity, brings us and aligns us into a different space. It's like changing the channel on the radio. I had to press through some things to make this piece for myself in a way I never have to with my other weaving. I really had to push myself, because I knew feelings would come up. And I had a few cries while I was doing it, even though the loss of that baby is many years back in the past. And I actually feel really free of that pain. I still had some of it come up, and I had to press myself, go back to it, go back to it, go back to it. But to have something, a finished product, something tactile, which is part of why I love weaving, to have something that I can hold and I can look at, and that's holding those socks that before were just in my closet, that has moved and shifted the energy. And that's what healing is, right? When we move and shift things, like they're static, you're in your groove, you're in your rut, you're just and creativity explodes it. It shifts it left, right, up, down, all around, brings us into new spaces and new places. So get creative. It's going to be so important. And don't forget, thumbs up, subscribe. I'm really trying. For people who already know me, I'm a mom of 6. I am really trying to put these videos out more, but it seems like once every 2 weeks. I'd love to be on here more because I love YouTube. And this is a great place for me to share what I'm doing and who I am. So you can support me by subscribing, give me a thumbs up, leaving a comment, visiting the website, buy some weaving, check out the book that's going to be on there, Strange Gifts. And until next time, I hope that you are able to really tap into that power of healing that's available with our creativity.